Thanks for watching. This video is on the history of some media images, the concentration of media images, similar to the concentration of wealth, the concentration of power, concentration of interest of humans to be into, the kind of interest people have today. Well, we're going to look at that. So we're going to cover the Jester first, because it has a long history. I wouldn't say it's a real history. There's some historical jesters, and then there's mostly the ones we have today, social media. That's all fake. There was never a jester to a king's court. No, we made that up for a more concentrated media image of someone who could take on the powers that be. That started with the court jester. However, they never sat in a king's court, ever. Not one. So anyway, let's see. Okay, let's go with, there were two kinds of jesters mentioned most of the literature. Natural jesters and the gentleman's fool, a more educated, which is fake. It's never. But the naturals, these were people that had developmental disabilities, like Down syndrome, autism, delayed development, all kinds of things like that. These were people who did not fit in, but they seemed to fit in better than today, where they were more accepted. And even these naturals were thought to have kind of a freer identity. They weren't so attached to the things that most people would be, or were, or are, and the things we will be interested in the future, however long that lasts. Okay, so the naturals. Okay, then there's the fictional type, which is much more popular, okay? Because people in society think that influencing the powers that be is possible, I guess. We can see in the history that it never worked, that it never was. But so it gives us an image of a particular concentrated view, understanding of public relations. So there's one of the articles I found is from the website. It's called Ordo Ab Chaos, no spaces. It's in the title description. So that one, they mentioned some 123 different roles of jesters, stories, theater. It's mostly based on theater. They were not real. So anyway, this is the development of our fake society, right? I think it started with agriculture. Yeah. You talk to people, and I mean, most of the historical, archaeological, and anthropological information is that agriculture began different times between maybe 13 and 20 or 30,000 years ago. But you run into people all the time that will tell you agriculture was 100,000 years old and previous civilizations and all that. There's no evidence of that. No. I know a lot of people think there is. That's because they live in a fake society, of fake information, like this court jester story. So the article mentions a lot of different kinds, roles and things. None of them are real, though. Let's see. Okay. So society's been creating these media devices, and we watch them, and slowly we emulate them, and slowly we become the spectacle. Right? It used to be people made up stories, and that's the actual view from film studies. Losing my train of thought. It's kind of late. On film studies, they call back again. So in film studies, they call it spectacle. And that was what we created, the human spectacle. And slowly we all become these concentrated media images. We ourselves become the spectacle because these things have been developing in humanity for a long, long time. Religion is media images, concentrated media images, Jesus, media image. No, no reality there. There's no reality to any of our media images, but we think it's true. It's not. Let's see. We got a report from Joel Schechter, a collection of articles. It'll see in the notes and the title. So it was regarding this clown in Russia. Okay, we're still based on the old media image. So this clown thought he was gonna tell the king some shit. Well, didn't go well for him. If you want to read that story, you can. I'll just I'll just tell you. He had a ventriloquist, like a puppet, and it was of a pig, and so he would say he would make the puppet appear to say, "I am the Kaiser" or things like that. He would be making fun. Goodbye to Durov. Another one more recently, we have this. It's Dan Rice. He was a clown in the 1860s in America. He was friends with Lincoln, Abraham Lincoln, but against abolition. He traded alliances all the time, as was needed for the image that was going to give the message the right impression at the right time about the right thing. So he was free to do that. He did pretty well. The 1860s, it was a big change in circus then. Audiences were changing from the more animated and lively audiences of previous humans to the current passive consumers of today. It was right around that time. And what happened to Dan? Dan, oh yeah, he was interesting life and stuff. He even ran for president from the circus ring. He was running for president. Sound familiar? Okay. So Dan Rice. Now, there was a cartoonist at the time, Nash. And the cartoonist was very popular. He was a Republican. Okay. Dan Rice was presenting all kinds of things. And so Nash was a cartoonist. Did I say that? Okay, so Nash, he's making some cartoons of Dan Rice. They become very popular. I don't think Nash was expecting that because that's not really his camp. But anyway, those became popular. And we still have that cartoon image very alive and well in American society today. Dan Rice, the cartoon, looks exactly like Uncle Sam. And yes, indeed, we did base Uncle Sam on Dan Rice, the clown, with the striped clothing and top hat striped and all that stuff. That was real. I mean, that was the man, Dan Rice, wore those clothes. And it's claimed to be that Uncle Sam image looks exactly like Uncle Dan. Uncle Sam, Uncle Dan. Yeah, Uncle Dan. Okay, so we can see different roles of clowns that they played. It was a social platform for people to engage, like a theater. It developed from the theater, I would guess, and as entertainment become more and more popular, the concentration of entertainment, we get the concentration of these media images. It's kind of my gig today. Let's see. The media images are adaptable. That's one thing about them. As all our society is so mutable today, right? The clowns didn't have, what am I trying to say? In a circus, came from theater probably. And anyway, what else can I say about this? Concentration of media images, concentration of interest. These images and interests have been developing for a very, very long time. And if you probably watch some of my other videos, maybe on society. Um, okay, this is dragging on. I think I might cut this down. I'm going to cut this out. Okay.